Hey, how we doing today? Son, I've been thinking a lot about your Uncle William up in LA. Been thinking a lot about the guy. Thinking about he lived in Echo Park at one time. That was like considered the ghetto, in parts of LA, and but now it's being bought up by deep pockets, and it's completely turned ship, just like South Park did with North Park. Same fucking place. They just split it in half, called it South Park.
They're gentrifying. That's what they do. I mean, you got all these people in LA, no space. Echo Park's changed.
Yeah.
Tell me about what it was like. The 80s when you used to visit him. What kind of trouble you two get into?
We actually never got into any trouble, thank God, even though we were very fortunate.
Yeah, bullshit.
We were fortunate. I remember he introduced me to these two Puerto Rican girls. They were badasses, too. They were twins. This was before, of course, I met your mother. And we went to this place called Vaughn's when it still existed.
The grocery store?
Oh, yeah. So we parked in the parking lot. And I remember I was in my Volkswagen van I took up there from San Diego up to L.A. And these girls, we were going to Mulholland Drive. We went to Mulholland. Mulholland? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Mulholland Drive.
And anyways, whatever the hell. We were going up there. But before we were going to go, that was the plan for the day. And we ended up stopping at Vaughn's. And these girls said, "Are you guys hungry?" I said, "Hell yeah, we're always hungry." And they went into the store and they came back 15 minutes later. And then they started pulling these raw steaks out of their pants and skirts and shirts and fucking socks.
I never heard this story.
Wow. Oh,
Wow.
hell yeah. We ate like champs that day.
They went in there to steal. Did they tell you they were going to go in there and steal food? They just came out?
They just came out.
Wow.
And I'll tell you what, when took a look at that New York steak, there wasn't no complaining on my part.
Wow.
And at that time, cell phones were just like, one digit type of number. There wasn't like redial, repeat. You had to manually push those fucking 7 digits plus the area code. No, at that one time, yeah, if you were up in LA, because LA was 312 area code. I remember that. No, 213 area code. And San Diego was 619. And that's how the communication took place at that time. But these girls came out with food, man. Food, brother. Steaks.
What was it like dating back in the day before phones? How do you keep track? How do you keep track of the honeys? How do you prioritize? Because shit's so different now, You just got 1,000 choices, and you're also much more replaceable. Because you live in a world of Tinder and Bumble and all this shit. So what was that like?
Oh, I agree with you that things have changed 100%. And I think now a lot of things are social media. I don't want to say controlled. I just want to say there's a lot more influence now with this social media gig. You got people that don't have, let's just say family support. And then, some don't even look for it. To be truthful, you know what? I remember, the phone, you could talk to people. You could hear their voices and shit, You knew if they were fucking lying to you. You felt that fucking cheating side of that fucking voice when she told you she loved you. There was fucking lies behind that shit. They didn't make fucking famous songs. Lion Eyes from the Eagles or...
She's headed to the cheating side of town.
She was heading to the cheating side of town.
Yeah, that makes sense because you got a chance to talk to people more. You have more opportunities to connect and, your bullshit... radar, whatever you want to call it, was probably better because there was better communication. People were more present.
I mean, overall, I liked it. I mean, it was more real. It was more personal. It was more, Now, somebody wants to send a message. You got, depending on how many people that are following them or whatever the hell it's called. Or
The other thing that's good is the difference back then is you didn't know much about the person you were meeting with, and nowadays it's basically like, especially on the apps, people put the most perfect version of themselves. Photos that aren't accurate. I've been catfished a couple times actually, and they try to sell this perfect version of themselves and all their best qualities. And I mean, I've done that shit too. I'm guilty of it. Everybody does it, and it just makes meeting the person so much less genuine. All my best relationships and connections have all come naturally, organically from meeting people in public. And
of course,
it must have been cool to exist in a time where you could actually be real with people. Not that it isn't possible today; it's just much more difficult. But luckily, I ain't gotta worry about that shit.
Yeah, we all got to worry about it, bro. I mean,
well, I don't have to worry
about
it
who's real and who's not real within our circle. I mean, that's just the fucking the real of it. But I mean, things have changed. You're talking about back in the 80s, 35 years ago. I would say that from 35 years ago to the present, things are just completely different. One reason is that phone, man. That iPhone's, that's the devil, brother. That's the devil. And that pretty much, the shitty part is that once you get possessed by that fucking phone, not to be all religious and shit, but once you get possessed by that phone, I mean, family doesn't mean a whole lot no more. I've seen people just, including, in my internal family, that, the phone's become a priority. It's fucking become a priority, man. It's just no bullshit.
Well, there's no living in a world without phones, Dad. It's just about having balance. But yeah, if someone is obsessed with it and it disconnects them from reality and makes them more detached from their family and their people, then it's a problem. But it is possible to, have balance. When I get on those flights to Dubai, my favorite thing is being off the grid for 16 hours. Is the best feeling, where nobody can call me, text me. I mean, it's just, I got all this time to read.
Well, that's what we had back in the 80s.
Yeah. I mean, I can only imagine. That must have been cool.
Back in the 80s, that's how it was.
Must have been the shit.
It was. See, you used to please I don't want to say please, but, or entertain or have a certain number of, friends, a circle that would exist, let it be 3 people or 13 people. Now, when you make a statement or you take a picture, you video your event, where you're at, this and that, now you have to please 30,000 people, that are viewing it. Maybe only 100 are following you, but 30,000 or 2 billion if you really want to go. There are 8 billion people that I think live on this planet right now. That's probably close to that number.
What do you mean you have to please all these people?
Well, you don't have to please, but you have to. There's an audience of critics, a larger audience of critics. And back in the day, back in the 80s and early 90s and mid 90s, you still had that, real connection where you actually heard a person pick up the phone. Hey, what's going on? Hey, what's going on? Hey, do you want to go have a pizza? Hey, you want to have a beer? Do you want to go play basketball? My thing was playing basketball. And then after that, of course, the thirst would come in and we'd do the beer thing or a soda, whatever the hell it was. But we would make it real simple, and it wouldn't have to be with a whole lot of, moving parts. Like, oh, well, this, that, this, it was just real simple, man. Your buddy'd call you up. Hey, man, you want to hang out? Yes, no, yes. Want to go play ball? Yes, no. Racquetball was a big thing back then, too, Mikey.
Racquetball's still popular. You can still do all that shit, Dad.
The racquetball,
it's not possible.
I'm done with that bullshit.
No, I'm saying
and that's
having
a great sweat,
quality relationships and quality people. Just because the phone rules the world that doesn't mean you can't have quality people and
100%.
those kind of experiences that are authentic.
100%.
I was barely on my phone this whole weekend with Ryan and Lo. Barely on the phone.
I know. Just think about that. Think about if more people would practice that. If more people would practice that, it would be. I think it would be better for everybody, because I think everybody's living in a phony ass world. I think everybody's being influenced by phony ass people. I think that we have the gullible, weak-minded. Only because, not because they were weak-minded or bad people, or because they're weak. I should even use that word weak, really, to be truthful. But they're more influenced with the phone than there are with the parents now. Why? Because it's just everybody has it. I mean, you're not cool if you don't have a phone and you're not on, hey, did you see that? Did you see this? Did you see that? That kind of thing.
Well, it's a different world with different values. Kids growing up with Instagram and Facebook. They're taught to idolize.
Please.
Yeah, they're taught to please, yeah. And they're taught to value the wrong things, and it's really bad for their self-esteem and their sense of worth. And you need a lot of guidance to navigate all that shit, There's never been a harder time to be a parent. But you have to understand, coming from your generation, it's easy to point it out and see what's wrong with it. But when you grow up in it, if you've been born after 2000,
of course,
you've been dealt a pretty shitty hand.
Yeah, well, just like, the one thing that I've always mentioned, and one of the reasons that I even talk about a lot of shit, I mean, like, that I want to even do this shit is to help people. You say about it's dealt that hand. Everybody that was born after 2000, boom, they're in the, they were born into the technology of, being influenced by some fucking phone versus, their family and love and shit like that. The real deal. But that's what's kept people fucking whole. That's what's kept people close. If you look at all the successful people, if you look at the people that are like really, really, hard, heavy hitters, you're gonna notice a tight family, tight knit family, tight knit with the NIT, tight knit family, that just enhances their chances for them to become so more successful than 90% of the population.
Tight-knit people, because it's not, I mean, yeah, family, I'd say, for a lot of them, but tight-knit relationships, because not everybody has good families. Some people grow up orphans. Some people freaking are foster kids. They got no family. It's tight-knit people, the right team, the right people that support you and love you and bring out the best in you and hold you accountable.
Yes, I agree. Like you said, I mean, not everybody, are fortunate enough to have both dad and mom at the house, and, bullshit. But, or even to have a roof over their head all the time. Some people, fucking had to fucking, they had some fucking, tough shit going on because, sometimes it's completely out of their control. Sometimes, mom and dad ain't fucking there fucking at attention. They're not there representing and fucking taking care of business. And then when they are, it doesn't mean that that child is going to be, do what they want or be successful in whatever they want to do. But I think that that's a big advantage, having both your parents. But, it is what it is. We live in the real fucking world of single parents. That's what it is. And I give all the praise to the moms out there that have, because it's the moms. It's really, of course there's great dads, don't get me wrong. But the moms, they don't abandon their fucking young. 99.9% of the time, the mothers do not abandon their young. So they'll try their best to keep things up tight and knitted.
So what do you define successful as when you say heavy hitters successful? What does that mean to you? What does that mean to Papa Shank?
It means, to me anyways, not to say that I'm fucking know what I'm talking about, but to me, personally, heavy hitters means somebody that becomes independent. They don't give a shit about what others say. I mean, of course, always respectful, always got to be respectful to especially their dad, that's just it, brother. Okay, the mom too, but pops. You know, if you're talking in my family, it's better be fucking respectful.
No, it's both.
But I mean, with
funny, you just said
kidding
everybody
aside,
needs their mom.
all kidding aside, I say that somebody who's finally, you want to know the truth, you look it up. Since you guys got this Google bullshit and this
Nah, I
other
don't.
bullshit search fucking machines, you look up fucking take the bull by the fucking horns. Okay, when you talk, you're asking me what a heavy hitter is. It's a person who takes the bull by the horns. The bull by the horns. That means you got a big fat fucking 8-foot fucking bull that's 1,000 fucking pounds looking right at you, bro. And that's called life. Look at that motherfucker. He's looking right at you. He could either fucking smash you and push you the fuck down, and get the fuck out of my way, or you take that motherfucker by the horn and say, no, fuck you. You get out of my way. And I'm going to fucking live my life this way.
I like that.
I'm not going to live my life the way you think I should live my life, the way you think I should look, the way you think fucking I should think. I'm not living it like that, motherfucker. I'm in it to survive. I'm in it to fucking live good. I don't want to fucking just eat tortillas and beans every fucking day, okay? I want
Occasionally
to
a little
fucking
guacamole.
little fucking occasional guacamole and maybe, some extra fucking lettuce and fucking mushrooms on that shit.
Some
But
beans.
I mean, if that's what you're asking me, getting back to that question, yeah, man, that's what it is. Take the bull by the horns. I just give you a little synopsis on as to what the meaning was on that, but it's just like bitch, fuck, asshole, damn. You could take all those words and they could be verbs, nouns. The word fuck can be used in 7 different categories. It could be plural. It could be verb. It could be noun. It could be fucking a whole lot of things that just don't come to mind right now. But I'm sure, after you hear me, you'll look it up. You'll find 8.
It's probably more than that.
But that's what, to me, that defines a badass. And you could be a quiet ass person and be a badass. It's the one who just fucking takes care of business. Now, don't get me wrong, man. Sometimes fucking we run into some fucking bumpy roads and shit. People lose their jobs, fucking, shit hits the fan. And you're fucking fucked a little bit here. You're like, what the fuck? But you never let them see you sweat, you know what I mean? Don't ever let them see you fucking where you're hungry and shit, You got to play that fucking, you just play it to fucking, you just play it out and just, it'll go away, it'll pass just like a headache, Motherfucker comes and it goes. Same thing with life, everything comes and goes. Just like we're going to come and then we're going to go. That's the same philosophy.
Bumpy roads build strong people. And you can't
Obstacles.
be a strong, complete person without having meaningful suffering in your life.
You got to have potholes.
You got to have potholes. And you got to embrace them and the lessons that come with them. And not try to avoid them or sink when they happen. You got to realize that tough times, they don't last, but tough people do.
Well said. Well said. I like that.
Embrace the suck when it comes. And it's hard. I mean, it's easier said than done because you're thinking a lot of things when you're going through it. We've all felt depression, loneliness, whatever kind of thing, negative emotion comes. But realizing that those things pass and that they make you a better, stronger person can get you through it. That, and like you say, a tight-knit group, good people in your life.
100%. And like you said, and some people that don't have the tight-knit, privilege of having that, should look for and surround themselves with people that are, thinking positive, thinking, what they want to do and how they're going to go about. They got to have a mission. I think everybody should fucking plan out a mission. Whenever you feel like you're fucking lost and you're fucking in a fucking rabbit hole, I think that's when it's time to break out the paper and pencil. Go back to old school. Your number one enemy on this planet is yourself. That's your number one enemy. But that also, if you look at the other side of the coin, that could be your number one allied. So it's up to you to choose allied or enemy. You know, that's how I kind of look at that aspect of it.
Yeah, I agree, Dad. I agree.
I don't think you should let nobody control because your fucking shoes are fucking red and, you know, everybody's wearing fucking purple shoes and that's the fucking cool thing. That should be fucking, that should make you less or more of a person. I think that you either got to shit or get off the pot, like my dad used to say. You know, people that fucking shit means they got a plan and they do, and they don't talk. They just do. And other people that sit on the pot but don't shit, that's all they do, is they don't shit. So if you don't shit, you're not taking care of shit.
Well said.
You understand, compadre?
I think you set the record for how many times the word shit is used.
Well, I guess I did, but I wanted to make sure that it fucking
We heard the shit.
regurgitated.
Shit or get off the pot. No, it's a good point. But yeah, I agree.
How was your flight? What happened with your flight today, man? It was postponed. They had the old mechanic with the wrench underneath the plane.
Yeah, every time that happens, I always think, man,
Vaya con Dios.
I sure don't feel like it's my time. I don't know. I think there's a voice in all of us that that tells us how much time we got here and what we should be doing and how we should be spending our energy. And I definitely don't feel like it's my time. But I tell you what, when you hear mechanical issues on a plane, you definitely get a weird feeling because that's something that's not in your control. You cannot control what the fuck that pilot's going to do if shit hits the fan or if something happens to the plane. You have absolutely no control. But it's not something that I can do anything about, so why am I going to worry about it?
Oh, of course. Just why worry? Don't fly if you're going to worry.
Yeah, and I'm definitely going to keep flying for the rest of my life. But, yeah, no, flight was smooth, Dad. It took us a while to take off, but, hey, man.
Yeah, man, better to be safe than sorry. That was another famous quote my father used to say. Be safe and sorry. In other words, I remember we'd get off the freeway and shit, and, you know, there was a chance for us to go around, haul ass to get to the house. Because my mom would drive like that. I remember she was like always trying to rush and shit. I remember, what are you doing? Why are you hurrying? You're hurrying up to wait. There's so many people in this world right now that are hurrying up to wait. And that's a quote that the Marine Corps uses. It's a quote that has been used around the world. People rush to get somewhere. To what, man? To what? What? It's the fucking, like, say it's a dentist call and you're running, 5-10 minutes late. It is what it is. If you miss it, you miss it. I could see that kind of rush. But if you're rushing from home or from work to home or rushing to go to the grocery store or rushing from the grocery store to get home, that's almost, it's almost ridiculous because you're hurrying up to wait. Because once you get to where you're going to get, what you got to do, bro? You're not getting your teeth worked on. You're not going to see the doctor. You're just here and you're just hanging out and waiting for what, What do you, there's a lot of people out there, I think, that are in a rush to get nowhere. They're in a rush to get nowhere.
Yeah. In a similar concept, but different type of meaning, this old manager of mine once shared this great quote. He said, "Go slow to go fast." But that pertains to work and life. And what he was trying to say is taking the time to be prepared.
Oh, 100%.
And to really understand what you're doing and doing things step by step and not trying to rush the process. That actually gets results way quicker than if you just try to rush something. So obviously that's different, but similar. But it's something I really live by, and the way I work and approach most things, because you have to do things right, even if it takes more time, because ultimately that gets you to where you want to go quicker.
Yeah, go slow to go fast.
Mm-hmm.
I think could be related to preparation is key to success. Do you understand episode